that you contributed to preserving the knowledge of our ancestors. Being from Florida, one of the things you begin to realize is that there's a lot of history here, and a wide range of history, and it's not really consistent to things being the same. See, Florida once was under the water. That's why when I sift through the sand, sometimes I come across shark's teeth. First shark vertebrae in a long time. Pretty good condition too, actually. Nice. Keep that one, put that in the plaque for sure. Megalodon shark teeth. Tiger sharks, makos, you name it. Tons of different sharks. I even found some shark vertebrae. However, those are a little less common. I did luckily find one here today. Now, Florida also has a history of land. Prehistoric land. Prehistoric mammals. Saber-tooth tigers. The Pleistocene era, you know. Giant woolly mammoths. But we had bison, we had tapir, we had giant ground sloths, the glypthodon, looks like a giant armadillo, and other prehistoric mammals that roam this earth. We have American Indians, or Native American Indians, I'm sorry, and you know, that can be found in evidence like these fragments of arrowheads. This is all from one day of sifting through creeks, and sifting through one particular creek for about 2 or 3 hours, and I came across all of these fossils and history in the making. So I just want to go through some of this cool stuff that I found, and we will talk about the richness of history. To start off, I found a midsection to a spear point. This piece right here was worked on both sides. It would have looked something like this. Pointed there with some sort of a fastening base for an arrow or spear to, wouldn't have been an arrow, it would have been a spear to mount right there, and it would have been thrown into an animal like a bison. Now, this very large tooth that I found. At first glimpse, it's hard to tell, because at the time period, 20,000 years ago, when this animal roamed, there were two types of animals that had very similar teeth. The camel and the bison, both large mammals that roamed. The one distinguishing characteristic of a bison tooth versus a camel tooth is right here, this spire. In between the two sections of the upper part of the tooth, the bison would have a spire. And now this tooth would have been about this long if it was completely intact, but this middle spire right here would have extended down, and that's only found on the bison tooth. Which, just after finding the bison tooth, I found a large bone. And this was a clue. I decided to look into bison bones. And I found this matches pretty good. I think it is a bison bone. It is prehistoric, probably. It hasn't fully fossilized. Most of the aquatic mammal bones that I find, like dugong bones, they're hard as a rock, whereas this one still is hollow. It hasn't filled with minerals, and it's hard as a bone. It's not hard as a rock yet, and you can tell because parts of it have deteriorated. Now on the bison, where I suspect this bone came from, possibly on the front leg, which would have been the equivalent of this bone, I believe, it has an elbow-like structure, and I think that is what has broken off of this bone. Now, it could be wrong. It could be from the rear limb. I'm just not a good enough expert on the anatomy of large prehistoric mammals to correctly identify this piece, but I think that's my best guess, and if you know, please let me know. I also found some other bones. All of this was found in the same spot that I was digging. I did find a smaller megalodon shark tooth. This would have been from the back section of the mouth, or possibly from a juvenile, but even the juveniles were like 8 feet long, so that's probably just a rear mounted tooth. This right here is a vertebra from a shark. I don't know how to identify the different sharks by their vertebrae, but the teeth we can. This would have been like a mako, a small mako. They get much larger than this. And this right here would have been from a barracuda. This little tooth right here is actually a barracuda tooth. So that's pretty cool. Tiger shark teeth, I found several of them. I think I found a few today. Most of them seem to have been damaged, but they have a curve to the tip, like that. This would have been a nice one, but it broke off on the tip right there. That was really curved. Ray teeth, numerous ray teeth, and then other flat, chert. This would have been created from the napping process of creating shark teeth. Some more bone fragments that would have probably went to that same bison bone, possibly in the same hole, and some sort of reptilian tooth, possibly a gator, maybe saltwater crocodile. I'm not exactly sure. It could have been aquatic. Canadian. Okay. Couldn't find it much, but man, I just found a baby mag. Oh, thank God. Something to put in the plaque. Hell yeah. If you don't have something to do, why not dig up some history and preserve it? And eventually, maybe it's important history. I found some things that I don't think have ever been found before. So if you get the opportunity to dig up some history, and maybe eventually or at some point you're going to run across something that nobody's found, something that is very limited, something that you contributed to preserving the knowledge of our ancestors or the history of this earth, because it's like the Library of Alexandria. Who knows the knowledge that was lost from that right now, but now we're so better at preserving our history with technology and being able to write a book and it stays on the cloud and the space. Once that holds together, then knowledge will stay there forever, and it's backed up in places, so it should be there forever. It's important, it really is. We can learn from our past and hopefully make a better future. But if you like this video, so I don't rant too much, we'll cut it right there. Go out and dig some history. You could find something you've never found before. So if you know what this planet is, just let me know if that's going on. At first, when I glanced at it, I was like, a human bone. It's a big bone, but it's pretty damn big. It's like my arm, obviously. But see, bison had a third appendage, so they had like 3 bones, which would make the bison really tall. So, thank you again. See you next time. I'll get that over. Peace. Everyone wants to save the planet. I know we can do it. We are the many. Welcome to the colony. Together we have the power to improve our planet. Don't ever underestimate it. The tools are right in front of us. It's your heart and mind at your fingertips, and now we have the connections. We're building a team with a mission, all about conservation. Communication around the earth only takes seconds. Together we will change this planet. All this talk about extinction, so many good reasons to listen. Our existence. Grow a garden and reduce your dependence. Put native trees and flowers in it. Bees and butterflies pollinate them. Seeds fall and create new plant seedlings. These plants take in carbon and create oxygen. That is a step towards a solution. That is your power in action. Making a difference, you have our support, friend. Thank you for every moment you listen. If you choose to, thank you for your subscription. I put everything into this content. It's our one and only planet. All the support, I truly appreciate it. Your love alone makes it worth it. I've been stung over a dozen times. I'm not sure how many different places. By over a dozen different species, most with similar reactions. We must respect these bees for pollination. A little sting, that is nothing. That's just their form of protection. We live in a colony. Are we really that different? New videos here every Thursday. That is my commitment. If you have the power to do something positive, you have the responsibility to do it. Well, I said it. I guess I'm obligated. I convinced myself and I'm excited for the changes. We need to be self-aware and stop waiting for legislation, because growing more food means less pesticides to produce it, which means more pollinators like bees will not be affected. Growing our own food means an opportunity for you to teach a child what real food is, because growing food for you means less fuel for transporting it. More food for you means less greenhouse gases. More food for you means less pollution and fertilizer in our water systems. Welcome to the great outdoors, friends. Let's make a difference.